So we've got Obi Webb Kenobi here for our press conference today, and Coach, you had to feel like the force was strong with you last weekend.
Strong. We traveled a great distance to battle strong foes, but we were victorious. No, seriously, it was a good weekend. Well, let me say that better. As serious as we can make it while I'm wearing a robe for a press conference. It was a good weekend for us, and it was. I think I was really impressed with both the teams, just how much they've improved since last time. And I can't do this with it. We're going to have to go back like that. All right. Just how much they've improved since last time. I mean, I think I really would give a great deal of credit to Blair and Tom just to say how much their teams have improved since last time we played them. I mean, they were much more competitive matches. They've each made some changes in personnel and changes in skill, and they were good wins. And that's something that I'm not sure the first time we played these two wins, I would say they were just wins. This time they were good wins against teams that were playing well. Obviously, Akron had just beaten Kent State the night before we played them. Buffalo they're getting closer every week. I mean, they're so athletic, and when they pass well, they're really good. They pass better this time than what they did at home when we played them here, and they defended better. So there was a number of phases of the game I thought they'd improved greatly. The first set, we obviously lost in both places, but then we were much better as the match went on. And I think the next three sets at Buffalo, we hit over 300. Akron lost the first set, a great number of unforced errors, and then played pretty well throughout, but it was never what I would say a really comfortable. There was one set, I don't know, maybe it was the third set, was pretty comfortable, but the other sets, they were competitive throughout.
I know you were pleased with the way Allie played last weekend. What was she doing for you guys that was coming up big?
Well, she is a gifted one-footed attacker, we know that, and she got some looks. I would just say they were favorable to her in terms of how the block chose to line up, and she was really focused on what she was doing. Really focused on having a good approach angle. We talked about that knee drive and what she does with the right knee right before she attacks. That was really good. And I think Steph set her really well. I think that was, when I look back throughout the weekend, Steph was really, really good setting behind this weekend. Really consistent setting balls from a number of locations, getting it to the right pin. And I think that helped Allie be very successful.
This is kind of an interesting weekend for you guys. You're playing a Miami team that's red hot and kind of in control right now of the MAC race. They're almost kind of in the position that you were 2 years ago.
Right.
Can you talk about just what your approach is going to be playing a team like that this weekend?
They're really good. I think everyone is aware of that. Not only are they, I think, 12-0, I think they've lost a grand total of 2 sets in conference play. So they're dominant right now. They're not a good team. They're not the best team. They're the dominant team. And I think by seeing this last weekend, I mean, they've swept the number 2, 3, and 4 teams in the conference. We were one of those, obviously. And they're that good. I mean, they're as good as advertised. And so this weekend, it's going to sound really weird. I mean, as a competitor, you want to win every game that you go out there. You never know what's best long term. Is it better for us to be a little closer and figure some things out without showing too much and then losing and then winning in the tournament? Or is it better if we are in position to win? Is that really the best thing long term? I know what we want to do on Friday. We want to win because we want to win every game that we go out there. It will be interesting to see kind of how that plays out. There'll be some changes, I think, on both sides. I think last time they took advantage of some things that I believe we've addressed since then. But one of the things that we know anytime we play a good team is they will expose weaknesses that maybe you thought you had fixed, but you hadn't, or maybe a new weakness. I think that's one of the things I enjoy about this league and having a number of just high-quality coaches that will find a very, very small crack in your defense and will work to exploit it, because ultimately that makes us better. And sometimes even you don't ever want to be blinded to your own team's weaknesses. You always want to be able to see that objectively, but sometimes we don't. And so it's good to have those things pointed out by other coaches by the way they game plan against you, and that helps you get better. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how much we've grown and maybe finding out some new ways that we need to grow.
Does playing them on Friday make Saturday's senior day kind of doubly difficult to prepare for? Because obviously you're going to have a team that's going to be ramped up to play Miami, then you have the emotion of senior day on top of that. Is there any worry about how you're going to handle that?
There's no concern about us being emotionally invested in Saturday. I don't think I've ever had a year with seniors that people loved, as they do on this team, that they didn't come out and they were just fired up, ready to go. If anything, the challenge is sometimes on senior day, people are too amped up. The seniors themselves, or sometimes the other players, I want to win it for them, that kind of thing. We need to go out and play a good volleyball game and honor our seniors by playing well, playing hard, but playing within yourselves. We shouldn't try to go out on Saturday and do something that we've never done before. We play good volleyball against a good team. Bowling Green is one of, I believe, 3 teams right now that are tied for 4th, and so they're working to get a bye, just like we're working to get a bye. And we're 2 games ahead of that pack of 3, but we are by no means distancing ourselves from them yet. There are too many games left. Too many things have to happen before we can say that we have a bye in the tournament. I can say comfortably that we're in the tournament at this point, but that's our next goal. And we don't need to worry so much about this is who we're playing or this is what the day is. We need to worry about getting a top 4 so we can get a bye. That's been our goal since the very beginning. We have in our locker room, we have a piece of paper where we check off every win, and the player who played the best gets to check that. And then below that, our next goal is to get a top 4. And we are that close to achieving that. So if we can stay focused and get done what needs to get done in the next 2 weeks, then we'll be in a good place.
Can you talk about just Mallory and Brooke and what makes them special as both players and people to your program?
Well, I would say as people first, because ultimately that's more important. Brooke is just, I think I've used this phrase before with her, but she's truly a student athlete. She truly is doing it the right way and has worked hard and has improved throughout her time in college. She's been a big part of our success this year, and specifically we moved her to zone 1. The defense we had in that zone became very, very good, and that's just a credit to Brooke, how hard she's working and just kind of specializing in that area. She's very, very good. But I just think she's, I don't want to say she's the mom of the team, but she's kind of in that role, just a mature, older player that is going to be able to help kids if they're struggling academically, is going to be able to talk to kids if they're struggling a little bit on the court, is a good mediator between coaches and the rest of the team and the other players. She's mature in a lot of ways, both on and off the court, and I definitely appreciate that about her. I think with regards to Mal, work ethic is just the first thing that comes to mind, and it's just hard. Of all of her many qualities, of which she has many, work ethic is just the thing that it just stands alone, because it's, no disrespect for anyone else on our team, but she works at an uncommon level. She works at a rare, exceptional level that she does that in here, she does that in the weight room, and there's a reason her name's on a plaque over in the weight room. Is only the 2nd female athlete to earn that in the last 12 years of any sport here. She just works, and I love that about her, and I think that says a lot about, 1, how she was raised, 2, what she chooses to do every day, and 3, what she's going to be in the future. That she's going to be a nurse, and I would hope that when I'm a few years older and going to have to have some care at some point, you would want someone like that. You would want someone that wants to work that hard, that's going to work for all 12 hours of a shift and not 10 hours and phone in the last 2. She's going to work to make sure that everything's right with the patient, that everything medicine they're getting is right, and that's. Sometimes we give just a little passing statement about this whole college athletics going into life and what does it teach you, but it really does transfer, or it should transfer, and I feel really good about what these kids will be once they're done here, and that's ultimately what this is all about. You want to have kids that when they leave, they're members of society that are contributing, and I have every assurance that these kids will, and every belief that they'll be wonderful in whatever they choose to do in life. Like I said, on the court, Brooke's been doing that in zone 1. Mal's been doing a little bit of everything, played some libero, back into playing outside. Has had this incredible run of attacking for a while. and she's just a great all-around player. And I think the key for every team with their seniors to get to this stage of their career is how you hold them together, how much duct tape you need, and just try to find a way to complete your career while still being able to function at a high level. Because many times you get to the end and kids just get broken down. And we're watching video on opponents, and every weekend you see a little more tape, a little more wrap, a little more bracing. I mean, that's part of every team, but especially the older players. And so we're trying to find that right balance with each of them.
You guys have anything?
Coach, just from this past Friday with Jamie, we saw 5 aces. She's 6th all-time on the program's list. How special is she as a server with that jump serve that we all kind of admire at this point?
Right. We all enjoy watching that, not just you guys, I do too. And it is something that it gives you a moment of hope every time she goes back and serves. Because she could go on a 5-point run. Boom, and they're like, oh wow, he's got 5 points. And you don't expect that out of a server. I mean, you always hope you're going to go on a run, but the game tells us that your opponents are going to side out at least at 50%. Usually somewhere between 60 and maybe 68%, and she can go back there and rattle off several. And either she gets an ace, or she gets an overpass, we convert it to a kill, or we get a free ball. I mean, there are times that's really going. So the challenge for Jamie is just to make sure that she stays aggressive, make sure she gets a good toss, and her feet are good to the ball. And if she does that, we just want her to go for it. And if she does, we'll live with the results. I mean, some days she's going to miss something. Didn't serve really well against Akron tonight. Okay, we'll live with that. And that's just something that when you have a kid that has a gift, and there's some phase of the game that they can perform at a special level, then you want to let them do that. And sometimes if it's awful with that day, okay, that happens. But she definitely is doing a great job back there. And we made a decision the first month of the season. A lot of people don't remember this, but she didn't serve at all for the first month of the season. And we didn't have her jump serve. We were trying to get her in a position where her shoulder and her feet and everything that, as far as lower body, it would be where it needed to be now, and would be where it needed to be going into postseason. And so we chose rather to give up some early season success with her, and even a little bit with our team, to make sure we got all the way through the season with her performing well as we go late in the season, and I think so far that's happened.
I got 2 more for you.
All right.
So finally, this is going to be your last weekend at home for sure for the rest of the season. Do you have anything you just want to say to the fans about their support, or anything you want them to know kind of heading into this last weekend of the home schedule?
Yeah, just playing here is incredible, and our team loves it. And it's just something that the rankings for attendance, this year's rankings came out last week, the first set of the rankings, and we're 15th right now in the country in attendance. And they're kind of talking about, well, this team's doing this, and this program's doing this, and of course the Big Ten has a lot of the teams that are up there. And they said, wow, how about the MAC? Ohio's at 2,200, no one else in the MAC's over 7. And that just it was a great reminder to me, just how blessed we are to have that kind of support here. And it's a great reminder for our team just to not take that for granted, because we go places and we play in conference and out of conference. There's 100 people there, and it's the environment and what's around it. Maybe the product on the court's really good sometimes, but the environment around it's like a high school game, and there's just parents and boyfriends, and there's not many people there, and so it's just great. And so a big thank you, to our fans for doing that, showing up every week, supporting us. I think particularly we knew that this year was going to start slower, and I had some concerns. All right, well, fans have been great so far, but what if we start slowly? And we knew that we might with graduating what we did, and we started 3-8. I know it seems like a long time ago now, but we started 3-8, and the fans were still here, and they were supporting. And now that we're, I don't know what we've won, you guys know this better than I do, like, I don't know, 10 out of our last 13 or something like that, but it's impressive to be at a school where they support you no matter what. And that's not always the case. There's some schools that when you win, you get a few more. When you lose, nobody shows up. And here, they support our kids, they support our program, and we want to do everything we can to play well for them.
And finally, do you have any favorite Halloween memories that you'd like to share with us since you're in costume today?
Wow, favorite Halloween memories. Yikes. Let me think. Up here. We'll put that back on, but it turns on red the next time, and that's evil. You got to be blue, you guys. No, I think it's just Halloween. It's just with the kids. I mean, that's just fun with our kids going around, and I think just being here in Athens, they had the first year we were here, going to the little kids Halloween, walking up and down Court Street, and having all that, shut down, and just enjoying that time with them. As far as the other Halloween in OU, we got back whatever time pretty early from Akron's 5 o'clock game. We got back at 11 o'clock, and that's the best way to say this. I got in my truck and I pointed it the other direction. So I'm not real sure about all the memories up there, but I can say for me, it's just whatever. Seeing our kids get to enjoy that and walk around, see neighbors, and do that kind of stuff. I know it's not quite as exciting of an answer you're probably looking for, but yeah, just seeing our kids enjoy that, it's good stuff.